Thanks, Mark, for joining us today. You've announced a series of measures to deal with the drought, the worsening drought up there. Can you talk us through why now? Well, the drought's been evident for some time.
Yeah, it has, and this is not something we've done out of the blue. We've been working with our farming communities for a long time in terms of helping them in situations like this. It's not unfamiliar to us, unfortunately. We've had similar scenarios in the past, and this is not the first thing we've done. We've already announced a range of packages that we've put in place. This is just additional support to help our farmers in this time.
There's a series of measures that you've announced today. We're talking about a reduction in rates for business loans. We're talking about a package for discounted loans going further and some measures for offsets on farm management deposits. Can you explain how each of those work and the impact they're going to have?
I guess we were keen to have a short, medium and longer term benefit to the customers to help them through this and any subsequent times where this arises. So the interest rate reduction is really about improving cash flow for the next 12 months, putting a little bit of money back into the farmers' pockets in particular. The availability of the facilities is more about there are going to be some needs that the customers have that are more significant than the cash flow is going to provide. So it's about making those resources available for farmers to access that fund to make sure that they can really look after their cash flow and position for the next 12 months. And thirdly, the farm management deposits. As we know, that's a tax effective tool for customers to utilise in times like this. But in this case, a lot of these farmers don't have that facility to fall back on. We think it is a useful facility. We'd like to use it to encourage customers to take up that facility so that in future times of need, in times like this, they've actually got that to draw upon. And that's more of a long-term play. It's less about the farmers in the drought conditions at the moment.
And in fact, you've just been travelling in the region and speaking to a lot of farmers. Yeah. Is this in a sense a response to what they were asking you for?
Well, that's what we do. I mean, we spend our time, we've got thousands of staff that spend their time with customers out in the network, understanding it. We're constantly reassessing what we put in front of them. We've got to be competitive, we've got to be supportive. It's an industry that we've been committed to for a long time. We'll be committed to the industry for a long time to come. And the only way to find out what's best suited is to talk to the farmers that are going through it and understand what they would need, what would help them get through that. And there was clearly a need to do something short term, but also think about the medium and long term.
And indeed, that seems to be an underlying issue here. We've got an acute drought at the moment where measures are important, emergency measures, but there's longer term challenges, whether it's with climate change or changing environment for farmers. So that is something that's front of mind for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to work with some industry bodies to understand what we can do to help promote more sustainable farming, lower water usage in particular going forward. And so we'll announce some initiatives in that space in the coming months, and as we sort of agree with the partners that we're going to partner with, how we bring that to life. But it's in the interest of the farmers, and it's in our interest to make sure that we can help them make more sustainable and more resilient to shocks like this.
And one of the pieces of feedback that we hear is that farmers are flat out trying to deal with the drought, and they don't necessarily have time to fill out forms and apply for things. If farmers are in this position, what's the best course of action?
Yeah, I mean, we're particularly talking about farmers that we know well. We bank a lot of these clients in this position, and so we're going to make sure that when it comes to call on this opportunity, whether they need to restock or replant next year, hopefully when the rains come, we'll be in a position to make some very quick decisions, and we'll be very close to these customers over the ensuing period.
Well, thanks very much for your time today.
Pleasure, thanks.